Dan Dickau here for Gonzaga Nation SI, the Gonzaga Nation Media Network. Well, the tournament is absolutely upon us. The first four games happened both last night, and the final two first fours in Dayton will go on today. So get those brackets in wherever you are entering those, whether it's with family, with friends, the national brackets, with coworkers, whatever. Get those brackets in. I know most brackets close Thursday morning before about 30 minutes before the first tip off. So I'm sure there's going to be many people, myself included, that fill out multiple brackets, and sometimes they continue to change from one bracket competition to the next. But I'm going to try to give you a little bit of insight of who I've got advancing to the regional finals and then ultimately to the Final Four. Went through the first round predictions earlier this week. We're just going to skip straight to the regional finals. In the South bracket, my regional final is Alabama against Arizona. Two unbelievably high-powered, high-octane offenses against Alabama, the one seed, who also is tremendous defensively. Arizona has been up and down second part of the season, but offensively, they're terrific. For Alabama, they're led by first-team All-American, a freshman, Brandon Miller. If you've been following college basketball, you know he's been criticized for his role in an off-the-court incident. Don't need to go there now with this, but there's going to be a lot of scrutiny on him as well as head coach Nate Oates in that Alabama program. I'm sure early in the tournament for people who were first tuning in and listening to all the details of what happened earlier this season with him and a couple former teammates. But I think they're too talented to not make it to a regional final. Javon Quinterly has done a tremendous job of buying in, understanding his role, being a spark. And then Noah Clowney is a really good freshman as well, who can rebound, he can defend, he can hit an occasional pick and pop space three. Christian Bediako is really good on the interior, blocking shots, impacting things on the glass. So that's Bama. Arizona, they might have the best scoring combination for bigs in the country. Azuolas Tubelis was probably the leader in the clubhouse for Pac-12 Player of the Year until a couple of recent losses, and he didn't play as well down the stretch. So Jaime Jaquez of UCLA won that. But Tubelis, her lefty Lithuanian, really good player. Umar Ballo, who you may know, started his career at Gonzaga, followed Tommy Lloyd down to Arizona. He's been playing really well. But I think for Arizona to win, they've got to get great backcourt production from Courtney Ramey, and Kirk Kriisa has to make the correct decisions. He's been very inconsistent. He's really good in transition, throw ahead passes, finding guys. In the half court, he struggles at times, but with his decision making at least. But he's a talented player. But this one of all the regional finals was the hardest for me. I literally flipped a coin. I've got Arizona moving on to the Final Four out of the South bracket. In the East, Purdue and Marquette is the regional final that I have. Zach Edey, probable National Player of the Year, hasn't been announced yet, but obviously he's a first-team All-American on literally every single ballot. He is averaged close to 24 and 13 points, I think, this year. 7'4". He's just been dominant. Gonzaga lost to Purdue earlier this year. Purdue went from literally unranked to ranked in the top 5 almost overnight after the PK 85. And then they've been hovering in the top 5, top 7 throughout most of the year. Had some stretches as the overall number 1 team in the country. But they I think are going to rely or have to rely on a backcourt of a couple freshmen. Fletcher Loyer, good shooter, and Braden Smith, another good shooter, high IQ basketball player from the state of Indiana. That's going to be an interesting matchup because they want to be physical. They want to grind it out a little bit more. They want to make sure they get Zach Edey touches going up against Marquette, who under Shaka Smart has made tremendous strides. Just unbelievable what Shaka Smart has done. They're an interesting and unique team because the transfer portal is alive and well in college basketball. We've talked about it a number of times. If you listen to this as well as just follow college basketball, transfer. That's the concept for so many teams, so many schools. Marquette and Shaka Smart took the other route. They basically went out and re-recruited their players on their program from a season ago, said, hey, we could go in the portal and we could tell all the guys in the portal what we told you when we recruited you. We're just going to go back and we're going to tell you that again. And we're going to show you that we want you in our program. We care for you in our program. We've got a plan for you in our program. You fit in our program. You're going to work well in your program and we're going to have success. Lo and behold, it has. And I personally love to see that. I think gone are the days where you're going to have a program that has 1 through 13 on the roster, whatever it is, and nobody is a transfer. I think those days are gone, but I love to see when there's continuity that has been built within a program, and then you sprinkle in an occasional transfer here or there. I think Gonzaga has done a really nice job of that as well over the years, but Marquette has done that. Tyler Kolek, point guard, lefty, can shoot it, can handle it in pick and roll situations, can push it in transition, averages over 7 assists a game. I believe he leads the country, or at least he did late in the year. I think he's a tremendous player, and guards win it for you in March. So I've got Marquette advancing to my Final Four out of the East. In the Midwest, in the regional final in Kansas City, I actually have Houston against Texas. Battle of 2 teams from the state of Texas to stay home in the Final Four in Texas, in Houston. And I have Houston advancing there. I mean, I really like Texas. Gonzaga got beat by them early this year on campus in Austin, before all of the Chris Beard off the court incident occurred and Rodney Terry had to take over. And what he's done has been tremendous in getting those guys to right the ship after that kind of controversy and just play extremely good basketball. Marcus Carr, Timmy Allen, Jabari Rice, those guys have all had bright spots throughout the year. They play hard. I think they play the right way. They've been obviously a tough out, but I think Houston prevails. And I say this because I think Marcus Sasser will be healthy to play. Now, if Marcus Sasser misses the first week of games, I think Houston can still advance to the Sweet 16. But if there's no Marcus Sasser, I don't know if they can get back to a Final Four. They do have some talent, though, and Coach Calvin Sampson can absolutely coach with the best of them. But Jarace Walker, a really good freshman, probably gone off to the NBA after this year. And the Houston Cougars, I expect to beat Texas to go to the Final Four in their home city of Houston. In the West Regional Final in Las Vegas at the T-Mobile Arena, I've got Arkansas and Gonzaga, a rematch of last year's Sweet 16 in San Francisco at the Chase Center. I think Gonzaga is going to prevail and advance to their 3rd Final Four. So that right there is my Final Four. I've got Houston, Gonzaga, Arizona, and Marquette. So for Gonzaga Nation SI, I'm sure you're going to disapprove of my bracket, which is part of the fun in March Madness. Send your comments our way through social media at FanNation SI.